I just checked my student loans because I needed to get the information to someone, and what I started with $80,000. I have been paying for 10 years and I still owe 76. How the is this possible? What? I think I might be late to the game learning about this. Student loans are really messed up. What are you supposed to do with it?
Wow. Now, Holly, you're an attorney, right?
Yep.
You racked up $120,000. And you say you don't think it was worth it.
I personally do not think it's worth it. I've lived a lot of life. I know more now than I did then. I don't advise anyone to go to school, especially law school at this particular point in time, unless they fit a very specific set of criteria.
I probably should have flashed a warning up on the screen. Parents, we're getting ready to say something you don't want kids to hear when you're saying don't go to college. But no, I understand what you're saying. And it isn't for everybody. And there are people that chose not to go to college because it wasn't for them. It wasn't a good fit. And they feel like they're having to pay now. A question for all of you right quick. Whether you're in favor of it or not, if you think that you as a taxpayer are going to wind up paying for this loan forgiveness program, raise your hand. As a taxpayer, you think you're going to wind up paying for it. Okay. Most of you didn't raise your hand. So I'm curious, if you think you're not going to pay for it, where is it going to come from? Because that's got to be paid.
It's got to be paid. However, I think people are failing to recognize the fact that the $1.75 trillion is like investing in the future. We have trillions of dollars that have been forgiven in business loans. I know during COVID, many small businesses got their, I don't even know what kind of small business loan it was called, but that was almost on the same scale. So I think that this deficit is something that if we don't end up paying for it and it just gets canceled, forgiven, I think it's just good news. It's gone.
Well, here's a clip where Vice President Harris was asked who was footing the bill for Biden's student loan relief plan.
Who specifically is footing the bill for student loan forgiveness? We haven't gotten a concrete answer from the administration yet.
Well, let's start with this. First of all, a lot of the same people who are criticizing what we rightly did in following through on a commitment that we made to forgive student loan debt are the same people who voted for a tax cut for the richest Americans. So when we look at who is benefiting from this, 90% of the people who are going to benefit from student loan forgiveness make under $75,000 a year. And that debt has been the reason that they're unable to start a family, buy a home, and pursue their piece of the American dream.
Did she say who's?
Dr. Phil, can I add something here?
If you're going to add to answer in that question.
So there will be a small increase to the deficit, but we should put it in perspective. It's about $6 billion annually in student loan payments that won't be collected. We have a $30 trillion economy. People are not going to feel a $6 billion increase in the deficit. And if we decide we need to pay that deficit off in the future, then that's a choice we make about how we're going to pay that with taxes. Folks like myself think we should have more tax justice and make people who are doing better pay more in taxes while maintaining a fair tax code for people in the middle. But student debt is really a tax mostly on middle and lower income folks. And so this is about fairness and doing what we did for a previous generation for today's generation.
Now, Neal McCluskey is the director at the CATO Institute Center for Educational Freedom and holds a PhD in public policy and is the author of Unprofitable Schooling.
We really do need perspective on this. Now, we don't know exactly how it's going to play out. The administration didn't give any estimates, in part because they probably don't know, and in part because they may not want people thinking about $500 billion.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.